What is going on, Birdsinthetrap gang? I'm back with another banger, and today I'm going to be going over my next 3 champions in every division. I was going to make a end of year champs video, but to be honest, I think we're going to have some long reigning champs. So instead, to have more to talk about, I'm going to be going over the next 3. These could span over the next few years. Some of these are going to take some certain circumstances to happen. We're going to go over it all, guys. Before we get into it, I never ask, and I kind of realize that I should start. I'm going to ask if you enjoy this video to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. I'm trying to get back into YouTube heavy. So without a further ado, let's get into it. And I'm going to move me up here. First, we're going to talk about the flyweight division, guys. And as you can see here, the current champion is Joshua Van. And I think Joshua Van, within the next few months, is going to fight and potentially lose to Manel Kape. Alright. I think Manel Kape is going to then go on to fight in his former home, Japan, against Tatsuro Taira. I then think Tatsuro Taira is going to get himself a crafty win, just to turn around and get pieced up by the former champion and new 2-time champion Joshua Van. Let's break this down, guys. To be honest, I'm such a big Joshua Van fan that I can see him going on a run and beating both of these guys until he fights maybe Pantoja again. But with how I think the division is going to play out, this is kind of what I think is going to happen. Like, as much of a Van fan as I am, I can see this. This is realistic, I think. I think Kape might beat Van. You know what I mean? And it's going to suck for a little while. But I think Van is such a savage fighter that he will get on a win streak before the year's done and be right back in title contention, because that's just the type of guy he is. And he'll be ready to get a title shot by the time these two are done scrapping it out, being Manel Kape and Tatsuro Taira. I can see Van and Kape fighting in like May, and then Kape and Tatsuro fighting in like August or September, maybe October at the latest, on like a Japan fight night. You know what I mean? Maybe they make it a numbered event, but I don't think that's likely personally. So, due to Kape being so dynamic, I think he is going to be able to get the jump on Van early on the feet, But I think Taira is the type of guy that would be able to beat Manel Kape. Now, he is going to have to keep improving on the feet, but if he looked as dominant, or if he looked that dominant against Moreno, I should say, I think he can replicate that. I don't think Manel Kape could do that to Moreno, you know what I mean? But here's the issue. Kape can just beat Taira, you know what I mean? All of these guys are super good and super competitive. It is truly kind of rock, paper, scissors up here at the top of this division, in my opinion. Which is why I think that when Van's on his little 2-fight win streak, early 27, he's going to get another title shot and he's going to box up Lil Taira if he doesn't get KO'd. I think he'll out-grapple Manel, but I think eventually Van will be a champion again. He's super young right now, kind of won the belt on some weird circumstances. And one thing I want to address on this segment is Pantoja. Where does Pantoja fit into this? It's a little tough, right? If Pantoja gets the next fight, this whole part goes out the window. This whole section doesn't matter, you know what I mean? And Pantoja's already training again, it appears. So I don't really know what to think of it, guys. The UFC's acting like they want to get this all going as soon as possible and almost like take advantage of Pantoja being gone. But I think he might be back sooner than we're all expecting. So maybe he can sneak himself in one of these spots here. If Kape wins the belt and then fights Pantoja, I think Pantoja will get it back. And if Pantoja fights Van, I don't know who. I don't know. I'm so sad we didn't get to see that fight, man. But that's my layout for the flyweight division. We're going to move on to the bantamweight division. All right. Guys, I'm such a Jan fan. I can see Jan just holding the belt till he's done. Seriously, dude. Like, honestly, I think Petr Yan, in my heart of hearts, I think he beats everyone in the division. I think he'd beat Merab again. I think he'd beat Umar. I think he'll beat O'Malley again. And he can just rack up all the defenses he wants, become the bantamweight GOAT, and then dip. I don't think he should move up. I think he should just defend and then dip. But, okay, let's be fair. Him and Merab are 1-1. This is true. Let's go under the circumstances that Merab wins this belt back. I think Merab, if he wins a trilogy against Jan, will take a lot of damage, will be a lot older, and even more fatigued because he'll probably turn around quick. And I think all of that is perfect for a Umar to snag the belt off Merab in a rematch. I used to think that Merab would beat Umar in a rematch. Still think it's possible, but if Umar gets this cardio under control, he can win 3 rounds. He won 2 rounds of their first fight. And then, y'all, I'm getting bold. I don't give a shit. I was looking at the rankings and I'm like, man, who would beat any of these guys? Because I was about to put O'Malley here, but I was like, let's get crazy. Let's say Umar holds it down for like 3 years and then gets chinny, because he's already a little chinny, and then Peyton Talbot KOs him. We're just throwing it at the wall here. We're just having fun. I don't... Okay, the Talbot one is a reach, and like I said, I think Jan's just going to defend this shit for as long as he wants. But I think the Merab and Umar back and forth title victories is very likely if this event were to happen. The Talbot one is a reach. I don't know who would beat Umar, but we can just replace Talbot with any up-and-comer that's pretty powerful, that's eventually going to catch Umar. That's kind of what he's representing here. And with that being said, featherweight division. Okay, guys, this is another one where some specific events have to play out here. Volk and Lopez are going to fight, and I can really see Volk winning that fight again, but I can also see Diego Lopez winning, of course. He is a lot more dangerous, I think, and probably has a bit more to learn from that first fight. Either way, no matter what, I think Lopez will find himself in a vacant title shot eventually, and I think he will win the belt. Diego Lopez will go down as a featherweight champion when it's all said and done. With that being said, I think the same thing has to be said about Gene Silva, okay? I was like major Gene Silva believer, and then he lost to Lopez, which I predicted and kind of called to go how it went. I still believe in him. Since I got that fight right, and he still looked good, and Lopez is obviously an elite fighter, I still think Gene Silva is eventually going to go out there and KO someone to win the belt. Whether it be Volk after he beats Lopez again, or maybe it's Lopez in a rematch. I think Gene Silva will end up with the belt. He's too dangerous, he's too dynamic, he's too fast, super creative, super fun to watch. And then, guys, this is another one where you kind of got to buy into it with me here. Kevin Vallejos is looking better and better in the UFC. He already looked good, but now he's KOing ranked opponents like Giga Chikadze, right? And if he can continue this hype train, I do think he will find himself in a title shot a little sooner than we're all expecting, mainly because of the Gene Silva connection. And by the time I think he gets up there is by the time I think Gene Silva is going to win that belt. And the UFC in this Paramount era, this is something we got to think about. We got to take into account that they're going to be looking for whatever's the biggest. So even if he's not necessarily number one, I think they're going to look at that first fight that they had on the Contender Series. It's going to be an opportunity to promote Contender Series champ for sure. And it would be a sick fight. Kevin Vallejos was super young in the first fight, and he won a round. Looked pretty good against Gene Silva. Was 1 round away from derailing the whole thing. So that can happen. And I think Kevin Vallejos will eventually work his way up to the belt. I see the potential. I see the Ilya Topuria-ness in him. You know what I mean? But if you were to tell me he's not within the next 3, I wouldn't be surprised. I was thinking about putting Evlev on here. But, guys, I think Lopez would KO Evlev these days. I used to think Evlev would still win in a rematch, but I don't think so anymore. And then Evlev could beat Silva, but ultimately I don't even know if they're going to give him the shot. You know, That's another thing you gotta think about. If he keeps not fighting or wins and sits out again, he will not get the title shot, and all these guys are going to get their shots and title wins. So that's my pick for the featherweight division. Let's get on to the lightweight division. Yeah, let me explain what I'm thinking here. I think Ilya would KO Arman. And I don't think that should be a crazy thing to say. And people act like it is just because Arman's a grappler. Like, dude, have you not seen Ilya Toporia's grappling? Or do you not at least believe in it? I believe in Ilya Toporia's grappling with his striking more than Arman's grappling and his striking. Because Ilya is so dangerous and so lethal. But the truth is, I think he'll maybe fight Paddy. And that's it. If Gaethje wins that interim belt, he will not fight Gaethje. And he honestly might just, like I said, I could see him just vacating this belt. You know what I mean? And having a terrible lightweight reign. But it is what it is. So I do think Arman will go down as a lightweight champion. Whether it's through defeating Ilya, I don't think so personally, like I just said. But I think he'll win it in a vacant title shot situation. And then I can see a world where Max Holloway beats Oliveira, gets a title shot, and like gets a fucking lightning in a bottle victory. I'm super biased, and this is just what I want to see, honestly. But then if Arman runs it back, he'll get it back. I hope this makes sense here, because I do think that Topuria would beat Arman, but I think Arman would beat everyone else in the division. And honestly, if Arman has to fight Holloway for the vacant belt, that would suck. But that would kind of be the best fight, I think. That's obviously the best fight. What am I saying? So, I feel like the lightweight is one of the harder ones to see play out here. But these are my most ideal circumstances. If Holloway can get another title win, especially up at lightweight, I would be so stoked. He still is young, you know what I'm saying? And I can see him just having an avalanche moment of striking against Arman, where Arman's just like, oh, fuck, brother, what do I do, man? And and Holloway puts him away. But then Arman would turn around and get it back. Because I heard Arman say he's not going to retire until he wins the belt. And he also is really young and athletic. I mean, everyone's athletic, but he is like a freak athlete, in my opinion, Arman. So I can see him having the longevity and such to get more defenses than what we're seeing on screen. I think Arman would be the dominant champ. But if Topuria decides to like stop fucking around and actually fight like 3 times in this division, I think he'll beat everyone that he fights. So, but I also realize that that's not likely. Welterweight division. This was another interesting one to pick because, like I said, guys, we can have some long reigning champs. Islam could beat all 3 of these guys. Like, he is that good. Islam is one of the best fighters of all time. But I also can see him not fighting much longer. Just like I said, I can see Islam fighting Topuria and then both of them retiring. Like, no matter what. So, whether these dudes find themselves in vacant title shots or what, I think Morales will get his hands on this belt. He's too big, he's too zesty, and at this point he's too powerful. I remember he used to go to lackluster decisions, and I was like, man, you're too big to be going, you're too big to be a decisionator. Like, what are you doing? But recently he's fixed that, and he fucked up Sean Brady in a round, fucked up Gilbert Burns in a round. And the way he looked against Brady was so defensively sound against wrestling that it's like, man, what's Islam going to do against that? I almost feel like. Now, would I pick him to beat Islam? I don't know. That's really hard. But whether it's vacant or against Islam himself, I think Morales will go down as a champion. And I don't know if he'll fight Islam next. I don't know who they're going to give Islam next. But I think he will win the belt along with Carlos Prates. I don't know if Prates would beat Morales. Actually, I don't know. I kind of feel like he might. But I think Prates will win the belt. But you know what? Now that I'm saying this all all out loud, excuse me, holy shit, he might win it a little further down the line. Maybe. But I think he will win the belt, and I also think Ian Gary will win the belt, which fucking sucks. Like, I don't like to admit that. I'm not the biggest Ian Gary fan. He's just an annoying little iPad baby twat, and I don't want to see him win this belt. He'll win it by pitter-patter decision against any one of these three guys, and we're all going to have to sit there and deal with it. But when I say that, you can just see it, right? Like, we all are going to have to accept it. It's going to suck. Middleweight division. We are shooting for the stars because Hamzat is not losing this belt. He's not. But let's shoot for the stars and let's go for some crazy circumstances that I've cooked up here. I think Hernandez has the best chance of beating Chimaev as it stands right now. I don't think he would. But, again, I think he has the best chance. His grappling is more tenacious, and he will fuck around on the ground too. He won't just try to strike and try to defend. Like, it will be a grappling match that Hamzat will still win. But in this ideal world, Fluffy gets it. And I'm saying that because I think Hamzat would steamroll Imavov. And obviously DDP again. But let's say Fluffy gets the upset win against Hamzat. Ships Hamzat off to 205 or to retirement. I think Imavov is a really tough matchup for Fluffy. Imavov's stature and his, really his frame, and Hernandez being weak to the body, all of that kind of spells out Imavov picking and prodding and slowly breaking him down, I can see in a title fight. With that being said, Hernandez could run through him if he beats Hamzat. It's like if Hernandez beats Hamzat, I wouldn't pick Hernandez to lose. But this is just how I could see Imavov winning. And then let's say Dricus gets like 1 or 2 wins and just waits. I think eventually, if Hamzat leaves the division, he within a year and a half to 2 years, I think he could find himself in a title shot position. And do I think he would beat Imavov? I don't know. But it depends on the landscape of the division because I don't know who else would. Assuming he beats the prior, it's like, Strickland. I don't think Strickland would beat Imavov in a rematch. I wouldn't pick Brendan Allen. I wouldn't pick RDR. I wouldn't pick... Who else is even here? Baralho. He just beat Baralho. So, again, we're reaching for the stars here. I get that this one's a little crazy. But I'm also a fan of Fluffy and DDP, so I'm trying to squeeze these guys in. And Imavov, I can realistically see him beating Fluffy. Like, no BS. Because if I wanted to BS, I'd put... Man, if I wanted to completely bullshit you guys, I'd put Robert Whittaker in this list. Bobby Knuckles? Or let me get the Aussie casual. Can I do it? Oh, Bobby Knuckles gonna win the belt back. You guys just had to listen to that. I don't know what to say. I'm sorry. I think Pereira's done at light heavyweight. I don't think he's going to fight there again. I think that he will get this interim title shot against Cyril Gahn. I just smell it. I smell it in my bones. And I think that's a great opportunity for him. He should take it. The rest of this list is assuming that he is gone and does not come back because he would beat both of these guys in a round like he has already. I get the Yuri was 2 rounds and he's 1-1 with Ankalaev, but you get what I'm saying. I think Yuri will beat Olberg and become champion again. And honestly, I'm such a Yuri fan, I can just see him holding it down. I keep saying this all the time in this video, but I believe in my fighters, man. I can see Yuri defending against everyone that's not Alex Pereira. Because that's what he would have been doing already if Pereira wasn't here. Literally has beaten everyone else. And you know what, man? Fuck Ankalaev, man. It's just gonna be Yuri. I was gonna have this little spiel where I'm like, maybe Ankalaev wins a technical decision just like he did against Pereira, and then he gets fucked up in the rematch. Ankalaev isn't a fighter, bro. He can't take that pressure. You put that butter on him. You put that mustard in his face. He's folding. He's going on his back. He's looking around. He's waiting for the ref to stop it. Yuri will put him in that position, and he'll make him cry. Ankalaev's a good fighter. He's a technically skilled, good fighter, but he's not beating Yuri. Do not sit here and tell me, oh, I don't know, man. The wrestling. Yeah, the wrestling. Okay. Let's see how fun the wrestling's going to be when Yuri's 3 rounds into the fight, just starting to put it on him. Just starting to press forward. Dude, Yuri... I need to buy like a Yuri shirt. I love Yuri. Ain't nothing to talk about here. I just think Yuri's going to win the belt. Okay. We are getting crazy. But this is the heavyweight division. What is there to talk about? There's nothing going on because I can just see Aspinall beating everyone. But let's say Pereira smokes Gane in a round. I am picking Pereira to beat Aspinall because he smoked Gane in a round. Hey, Aspinall couldn't do it. I love Tom Aspinall. I think he's sick. He's one of my favorite fighters to show other people. But so is Pereira. Pereira is nasty. And honestly, coming in at heavyweight, and if it's his second fight at heavyweight, already being acclimated, he's going to keep this shit standing. He's going to get his left hook KO on a counter because Aspinall does put that chin up. But Aspinall being so young and fast and dominant and already being a champion with wins in the division, I think he will be a 2-time champion. And then, guys, just to fuck around, or let's say Pereira beats Aspinall, I think he'll retire, and then Aspinall will be in a vacant belt situation. I think Aspinall will then go on a run. He'll go on the heavyweight record, defend against 5 blobs. This is such a joke to even put Waldo Cortez Acosta here, but he's the only interesting up-and-coming contender. Let's just say he plot armors his way to a title shot, and eye pokes Aspinall, and the UFC hates Aspinall so much that instead of a no contest, they give him a DQ, and it's a loss because they hate him, and they give the belt to Waldo Cortez Acosta because he does emotes and wears an eye patch. Fuck the heavyweight division. This has been Birds in the Trap MMA. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.